Set, go!
Hello and welcome to the Badass Women of Hearthstone. I'm smileykris, and today I'm joined by Tikiwiki.
Hello.
How are you going?
Good.
We'll be bringing you today's exciting match, which is a match between players Audreykills and Talia. Tiki, do you want to tell us a little bit about what the players will be playing today?
Audrey Kills looks like she has a pretty standard lineup of Odd Warrior, Death Rattle Hunter, even Paladin, and even Warlock. Nothing out of the ordinary I can really notice in their lists. Talia, on the other hand, has a Druid, which is a bit new with those nerfs. The Odd Rogue, the Secret Hunter, and the Odd Paladin.
Yeah, it's certainly been a while since we've seen the Taunt Druid, so it'll be interesting to see how it does perform today.
That's kind of the one I'm interested in seeing the most.
Yeah, I don't think I've tried it out. I also, looking at Audrey's lists, she does have some interesting text in there. So when I was looking through,
she's got the baited arrow in the Death Rattle Hunter.
Yeah, so she's got that, and she's got an animal companion in there as well, which you don't often see in Death Rattle Hunter. And then if we look at the even pally, she's got Immortal Prelate or Prelate. I don't even know how to pronounce that card. That's how little I've seen that one played. Along with Sound the Bells to buff that up.
And
she's also got
the Spike Rich Steed with it as well.
And she's also got some quirky stuff in her Odd Warrior too. So playing a Scalebane and only one Omega Assembly, so leaning more towards that dragon package than the sort of dragon mech balance that we often see. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those some slightly interesting texts play out for her today.
Yeah.
So both players here are 2-3 in record. We're playing a Swiss round here, and I think it's likely that the cutoff will be 4-3 to progress through to the top 8. So technically, they're both still in with a chance to fight through and stay in the tournament today. So it'll be a really great match between the two of them. We'll also be playing, for those of you who haven't joined us before, we'll be playing Last Hero Standing today. So each player will continue to play with their winning decks, and once the deck loses, then they will have to switch decks. So it looks like we're getting our bans in here. So Audrey's Warrior is banned and Talia's Druid is banned. So unfortunately,
Sadly.
we're not going to see the Druid today, which is
disappointing.
It is. What do you think that means for the likelihood of the players to win out here with those bans?
I'm feeling like with the Odd Warrior band, and just looking at the bands, I'm thinking that Audrey might have the upper hand here, since it's Last Hero Standing. With the even lock, she should stand a better chance against like the Odd Paladin and Odd Rogue, just due to having those board clear options. Assuming that she can keep that win streak going with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because her Talia's Secret Hunter with that Odd Warrior ban could actually pose a bit of a challenge for Audrey here. So yeah, both players in with a great chance. So we might just see if we can get them to queue up here and jump right into the match.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got a slight delay here.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be too long.
Are there any decks that you think they might queue up first with? Oh, the match is up.
Okay, we'll just jump into the spectate. Well, look, it'd be interesting to see whether Talia leads with that Secret Hunter and tries to win out, or whether she holds that for a counter later on.
Sweep or counter queue.
Yeah, but it looks like we have got an even Pally versus odd Pally first game here. So Audrey on the even Pally and Talia on the odd Pally.
I'm not too familiar with the odd versus even Paladin matchup in like the current day, but if I remember correctly, that in my experience, the odd Paladin seems like it should be favored.
Yeah, I think with the nerfs to level up, it's actually swung in the way of the even Paladin. So those 1/1s just don't pose the same amount of threat in terms of burst damage.
Especially with that Smileykris Steed and the Corpse Takers and Audrey's list.
Yeah. Yeah, that Smileykris Steed would pose a massive challenge for Talia if Audrey can get it down. It's just so hard to fight through with your little 1/1s. So.
Especially with no Owl or Void Rip.
So just starting off here, Talia with the choice between the Lost in the Jungle or the Veteran decides to go with the Lost in the Jungle and start taking that board on one.
Talia does have that the Corridor Creeper to get down for a swing once that Consecrate comes down, which I'm sure it will vary. How quick these boards can get out of hand.
I'm surprised to see her go for the trade there rather than getting the damage, but I guess with the with going for the Veteran buff here, she wants to protect that slightly bigger minion with the 2/1.
With the buffs, I think the trade is pretty reasonable. I'm surprised it was the Veteran and not the Blessing, though.
Yeah, I think I would have almost leaned towards the hero power myself, just to...
Yeah, but when she committed to like the 2/1 mana cards...
Yeah, definitely. But here she'll be wanting to get that Crystal Smith off the board as quickly as possible, because that thing is danger if it gets buffed.
Oh yeah, especially with the fact that Audrey could threaten a Coin Blessing of Kings, which she had the option for if it was left up. Talia's just gonna hold on to that Corridor Creeper.
Yeah, and also holding on to the blessing here, just sort of hedging against that consecrate, which will most likely come out next turn.
This turn for Audrey is pretty limited in options. I feel like the coin is going to have to be spent.
Would you go with the corpse taker or the consecrate here?
I think I'd go with the corpse taker. It's like if we look at Talia's list, she has things like a Stormwind Champions that consecrate could get better use later, and it's mostly just a board of tokens, so it could just come right.
So she does choose to go with the consecrate in the end, which means that we'll most likely see a corpse taker coming out this turn. This corridor creeper is going to provide her with some good board presence, though, to be able to challenge that corpse taker.
Refill.
Yeah.
Winter is here.
And the Maul is going to buff up all these minions if she chooses, or she may actually choose, having picked up that raid leader, she may choose to go with that.
The attack on the Maul would make for a very easy clear on the corpse taker, though.
Mm.
That could be a good reason to use that over a raid leader.
I wonder.
It looks like she is going with the Maul here. Presumably she'll put the corridor creeper into the corpse taker to clear here, and then push some damage with the rest of the minions. I think I would have liked her to see her knock off the shield with the weapon rather than go with the minion there.
A little interesting that she decided to use the 1/1 to pop the shield instead of the Maul.
And here Audrey's got the second corpse taker here. Even though Talia is managing to get through these corpse takers relatively easily, they're still preventing Audrey from taking a lot of damage here that she would have taken without them. So
Audrey's follow-up doesn't look that strong, though, so it's going to start to get pretty worrying for her.
Yeah, definitely. So clearing the minion here to be able to keep some more damage on board next turn, and going with the hero power rather than the Stonehill Defender.
And imagine play around that Spikeridge Steed since it's going into the 6 mana.
Yeah, that's a good play from her. And now we can see if Audrey didn't have any response, she'd be facing down lethal there, so that's some really good pressure there from Talia. And I think that's still lethal on board.
Still lethal on board, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Doesn't even need the Blessing of Might. And Talia's gonna take game 1.
So really well played there from Talia, just maintaining that pressure constantly even through those taunts. So Talia will be staying on Odd Pally. What do you think Audrey's likely to bring out as her counter deck here to that Odd Pally?
I would have to imagine Even Lock. The Defile just clears it up, like Odd Paladin boards up so easily, and she has the one of Dread Infernal in her.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good choice. Let's see what the players have gone with. Well, this is interesting because I think the warrior was banned. So can we maybe clarify that with Audrey? We might have a miscue here.
Maybe a miscue.
Yeah. So we'll just take a moment to double check that with the players, to see whether we got the bans wrong or whether there has been a miscue here. If there is a miscue, then we'll just restart the game with the correct decks. If the bans are wrong, then Odd Warrior, I agree, would be if the
very good cue if it is a wrong ban that we heard.
Yeah, so either this or the Even Lock I would expect to come out. And yes, it looks like we are going to restart that game. So we'll just move back into the next game. So yeah, assuming that that restart means everything's right and we're just going to see the queue. I agree with you. I think we'd definitely expect to see the even lock come out. Was there anything interesting in Audrey's even lock, or was that a fairly standard that she's got there?
There's a Skulking Geist and a Siphon Soul. Those are the most standout cards in the current meta, especially with the lack of druids. The Skulking Geist doesn't seem to be hitting much in Talia's list.
Yeah, I guess with the odd pally, it'll take away those Blessings of Might, which can sometimes be relevant.
That could be very impactful, especially with a Warlock's tendency to take away their own.
Definitely. Yeah, it's an interesting balance for the Warlock in between trying to tap to get to their clears so that they can control board and keeping their life total high enough that they don't get burst down. But I guess with the reduced pressure that the Paladin's got now without those level ups, it's probably a little bit safer for the Warlock to take a little bit more damage than it used to be.
It means those Hellfires are going to be a lot easier used as well.
Yeah, there won't be so much need to hold them for that perfect moment. So heading into the match here, we can see Audrey's actually got a fairly good start. She's got the Doomsayer and the Homunculus to challenge some early boards. And Talia's also got a couple of Squires there, so she's got a 1-drop to start the match out with here.
The light protects me.
Interesting to see how impactful the Frostwolf Warlord will be if she's able to get it down on curve. She can make a wide enough board between the Doomsayers and Homunculuses coming down.
Welcome to Oblivion!
Yeah, it'll be really interesting when it does come down because assuming that she waits until she's got a wide board, a wide and a tall board can be sometimes really hard for the Warlock to deal with at the same time. But
Audrey does have that one of Siphon Soul to potentially deal with a tall minion, though.
And also the double Spellbreaker will sort of reduce a lot of
Double Spellbreaker will be very impactful in this match between the Stormwind that Talia has and the Warlord.
So I'm a little bit surprised to see Audrey tap there rather than playing out one of those 2-drops.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I would have expected to see like the Homunculus come down, maybe just to force some trades and.
Let me think.
Yeah, I think I mean, often as the even lock, if you've played sort of a lot of other matches, you get into that sort of auto tap mode, into wanting to get your Mountain Giant on down. But against the odd pally, I think you need to prioritize keeping their board clear and keeping your damage low, because you put out this 8/8 and they can just ignore it and keep going to your face here.
At this point, the board is wide enough that even a Blessing of Might wouldn't allow for, like, the Doomsayer wouldn't be able to clear the board because of the threat of the Blessing of Might, or even a Maul if she had a attack power one.
And if I'm Talia here, I'm just going to continue to push this damage to face.
The Taunt Maul does look pretty appealing with the all the giants it could block.
I guess she may be a little bit worried about a Defile here, taking out her board and leaving Audrey's minion up, but we can see that Audrey doesn't have any clears as an option in her hand, so she actually doesn't have the potential answer that could be problematic for Talia.
Yeah, and those taps from the start of the game to get the giant out are starting to become a bit of an issue, though. With that attack, Audrey will be able to play the Hooked Reaver and defend herself pretty well from this small board.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that last 2 damage held just to force to prevent the Reaver from being able to be dropped that turn. But we are going to see that Warlord come into play that we talked about earlier, so maybe think about it.
The Frostwolves stand ready.
And Audrey immediately hovers over the Spellbreaker there, so I think we know what's happening with that one.
Definitely see her immediate train of thought with that hover.
And no attacks at all, which is going to probably be punished by this Defile here, so...
The file pickup is going to swing this game right in Audrey's favor.
I think Talia was right not to expect the Defile after not seeing it played last turn. It did need to come off the top, and I think that was a reasonable read. I wonder if Audrey just goes face here, and yeah, she may choose to just push this damage.
I really like that pushing damage face. Just want to end this game as fast as possible. So the Odd Paladin can just keep going. It's really hard for them to run out of gas.
So if she wants to be able to clear this 7-4 and 8-4, she's probably going to need to run Leroy into it. But no, she's choosing to leave the 8-4 up.
This is a really risky play.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, here we can pretty much see either a Spellstone or even the Homunculus dropped just to protect these minions further, and that 12 damage going straight to face is going to make it really, really hard for Talia to come back here.
Not sure there's even a way, assuming all 12 damage goes face. I can't think of a way for Talia to get out of this situation and turn this game around.
So Audrey's going to take the slightly hedge option there of pushing the 8 damage, but then taking off one of the minions. But
Healing her face over the Giant Witch seems pretty reasonable against an Odd Paladin.
Odd Paladin just doesn't have the board clears to be able to get rid of these threats.
Let me think.
Looking at Talia's hand, I don't think there's a way she can live through this turn.
Well played. The victory
And Talia doesn't think so either, so we see the concede come out there. So Audrey, both players up with 1 win each. Audrey's will be staying on her even lock now, and Talia's Paladin is retired. What do you think that Talia is likely to queue in response to that even lock?
I think definitely it's going to be the Odd Rogue. With the Odd Rogue can just do so much damage to the Warlock to limit their options. Though the Hunter is also a reasonable choice between the massive boards they can make and that hero power.
Yeah, I'd say that both of the remaining decks are favoured, but she has gone with the Odd Warrior here, which we're talking about a little bit in terms of the balance between tapping and having your clears and keeping your life total high enough for, as the even look for the last game. It's even harder to do when you're fighting against the rogue and they've got so much burst potential.
One interesting thing from Audrey here is her keeping that giant. I wonder if she's going to be trying to just tap it out again, like with the Odd Paladin match.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for her last game, but mainly because the giant was sort of ignored and she was able to pick up that defile to clear the 1/1s. It's a lot harder to clear the board that the rogue can put out than it is the 1/1s of the paladin. So it'd be interesting to see how that goes for her. But she does have the Sun Fury Protector to follow it up. So if Talia ignores the giant, then it can be taunted up and basically force her to deal with it.
And even if Talia deals with it through, let's say, that Vile Spine in hand, Audrey has plenty of big threats between the Hooked Reavers and Twilight Drakes to follow it up.
She does have to be careful though, because all this tapping is going to put her at quite a low life total.
That dagger swing on 2 does kind of tell her that Talia doesn't have the greatest follow-up in her hand, so that might make her feel a bit more confident with the taps, though.
And here she chooses not to tempo out the SI agent, but rather go with the deckhand plus the dagger. This makes her board a little bit vulnerable to that defile that Audrey just picked up.
That SI7 comes out now, that defile could be very devastating to Talia.
I think if she's going to SI, I'd actually like to see her put the deckhand and probably her face into this giant to clear it, and because that protects her board from defile.
I would like to see at least, I would like to see the deckhand no matter what he gotten rid of to play around a defile, but maybe she feels like she needs the damage going into the Warlock's face.
And Audrey picking up the second giant here. She now has the choice about whether she defiles away all these minions or whether she just plays that giant and then coins out the Sun Fury Protector, which, to be honest, is just going to be really hard for
one giant is already hard enough to deal with. Just 2 is going to be even bigger issue. Talia's in a really hard place on how to deal with this board now, between needing to break through 2 8/8 taunts and then most likely the follow-up of another 7/7 taunt.
If she can hold one of these 1-drops, she can coin out a Vile Spine to get rid of one of them. I mean, not coin out, but she can play that along with the Vile Spine next turn to get rid of one of them. So I guess that gives her the option of either playing one of the other 1-drops or just going to
Fungalmancer come out, as it'll let her deal with one of the giants this turn. So she's taking a little bit less damage, though still not a small amount.
And still keeping the board weak to defile here, which...
The giant would take quite a bit of damage if the defile came out here, so I almost want to see just the Hooked Reaver instead, just keep making big threat.
Yeah, I like this, forcing her to have the double clear again this turn. So we've gotten to a point now where Talia's health is low enough that she probably is concerned about using her face to clear through some of these bigger...
If she doesn't use her face, though, she's going to take that much damage on Audrey's turn, so she's kind of forced to, though.
And we see here that Audrey has a few options here. She could Twilight Drake and then Sun Fury that up. That would force basically the second Vile Spine to have to come out to easily get through it. She's also got the option of Siphon Souling, which would gain her a little bit more health, but I think I like holding that for one of the the more significant minions here.
She did decide to taunt up both the Drake and the other Sun Fury, which is a little interesting. It's like now her Sun Fury isn't protected behind the Drake, but just keep hitting face, with Talia being at such a low health amount.
Yeah, I guess she wanted to 100% make sure that there was no reverse damage coming towards her face this turn.
Yeah.
But even without that, I'm not sure we could have got enough through to
Right in, like,
to
a
get the
lethal, I think. And if Audrey didn't taunt up that protector, she probably could have set up for a lethal with the Dread Infernal. Though this probably sets up for lethal anyways, as Talia doesn't look like she has a good option to deal with this.
And Talia decides that is in fact the case and concedes there. So that retires Talia's odd rogue here. She's got her hunter remaining, and this was the deck that I mentioned did have fairly good matchups to all Audrey's decks. So even though we are going into the third deck for her, I still wouldn't count her out in this match. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Just between the traps are gonna make the Even Warlock have a nightmare navigating them, and the Mass Contender will be able to just keep getting more and more out.
Versus Rexa. Let the hunt begin. You face Mecha.
So that giant line has worked really well for Audrey the last couple of games. Look, I'd like to see whether she goes with that sort of match plan again, or whether she goes with something different. Full mulligans there, getting rid of the Defile, which is not as handy as Hellfire against the Hunter.
The Defile would have a real issue in being able to make a chain with the Secret Hunter. The 1 health would be a massive issue. Though we do see Audrey picked up the Giant, so she might be able to just do that tap Giant plan again.
Yeah, and there she picks up the Hellfire, so she'll be feeling a lot more solid about her hand, having that clear in hand. The times that the Hunter can get out a full board of 3/3s unchallenged from their Spellstone is when the Warlock struggles, and having that Hellfire clear is just going to make a really big difference into how she feels going into this.
Talia doesn't have that Spellstone. She's going to have to respond to Audrey's threat, but thankfully she has the Freezing Trap to be able to get rid of that Giant when it comes down on presumably 4.
She has played the Freezing Trap now, which I would have liked to have seen her hold that to see what comes out, because if Audrey now plays out this Homunculus beforehand, she can use that to trigger the Freezing Trap.
Yeah, I think that Freezing Trap was a bit odd there.
So here we are going to see that Masked Contender pulling out another secret from the deck here, and it's gone with Snipe.
The Snipe isn't going to do much against the Giant, though. Without a flanking, striking candle shot, the Giant is just going to be able to survive that pretty comfortably. I
guess between the minion that is on board and the flanking strike that is in hand, she can probably deal with that Giant now.
Yeah. Now that the Vulgar is gone.
So sort of a mixed turn with the secrets there for Audreykills. She would have been happy to see that the Freezing Trap just went on the Homunculus, but then this Sniper's actually made it really problematic for her Giant to then stick.
That Snipe ended up being kind of the perfect secret for that Masked Contender to pull out.
And we see a Spellstone pickup now, so I'd expect to see some of these other secrets start coming on board to be able to charge that up.
And I imagine we're going to see the Secret Keeper come down and get buffed up with those secrets as well.
Mm-hmm. So playing both the secrets here will allow a fully charged Spellstone next turn if she wishes. She might also be thinking about trying to get out the Eaglehorn Bow here.
I'll never tell.
Just to be able to sort of make the most of these secrets triggering, but yeah, I think
the fully upgraded Spellstone is a little too tempting for her.
So Audrey has quite a few options here. She has an upgraded Spellstone, which can deal with the Secret Keeper. She also has the Spellbreaker, which can knock that back to being a 1/2 and really not so much of a threat. She might be concerned about what secrets are up and what's going to happen when she hits in. What would you do here?
Well, looking at Talia's list, like, she has a pretty wide spread of secrets. So there's a bit of a worry of, like, a Snake and Venom strike. So I almost want to see just the silence on the Spellbreaker. Or, I mean, the silence on the Secret Keeper and no attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even with the attack there, I'm surprised she didn't take out the wolf rather than the Secret Keeper. Like, I would have expected the silence to come into play there.
Skulking Geist is interesting. I believe it does not hit anything in Talia's deck, so it's just being played as a 4/6 here.
I guess it's a relatively good body to get onto the board at that point. And the second Spellstone coming into hand here, but unfortunately with no secrets there for Talia, would you play out the full one here, or would you play out just that 2?
I think here I would just play the unupgraded one, try to maybe bait out a Hellfire, and just hope that, like, I can get a second one out with, like, no AoE contesting it, which, even with that line, it's not going to work out due to Audrey's 2 Hellfires. But, yeah, it's not a great position for Talia, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think I would have taken that line 2, just trying to bait out that first clear. Talia's taken a different line to either of those, so she's decided to clear off Audrey's minions from the board and leaving her with just 2 1/1s, and probably hoping to get those Spellstones into a clearer board next turn.
At this point, Audrey should know that it's a face attack secret or rat trap, so she's pretty free to do almost anything this turn except play, like, 3 cards.
And the ooze off the top came out at a nice time for the weapon that Talia had just played there.
Talia wasn't likely to swing that weapon again, I think, but it's still a very nice pickup, so you can actually proc the secret and not buff it up.
And here we see those 1/1s traded off just to prevent the Defile clearing the whole board there, so I like that play from Talia.
Audrey has a very good turn here, being able to proc that secret, clear the board with Hellfire, and then follow up with a Hooked Reaver.
Yeah. That's going to be really challenging for Talia to deal with here.
Though, I think Audrey does need the worry, though, being at 10 health with a little bit of healing in hand. She can heal about 10, but the Hunter isn't really going to be developing too much for the Spellstone at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Audrey does have to worry because double kill command could possibly do that 10 damage if Talia did have it there. So I'd expect her to be prioritizing healing over the next couple of turns. Luckily for her, though, the Talia just has the hero power to push damage this turn, and now Audrey's going to be able to use her fully upgraded Spellstone to gain 7 life next turn, which will put her at a much more comfortable life total.
It's looking like these wolves are definitely going to get cleared off with the Hellfire or maybe even the Spellstone. But Talia's going to have a really good follow-up of Coin Zul'jin, most likely, who will also replay that coin she's going to use to play him, and that'll also let her develop a Secret Keeper next turn. If she does choose to go with the Zul'jin, at least, though.
Yeah. So here I would have liked to have seen that 7/6 actually take out one of the 3/3s and just Spellstone the other one down, perhaps play your other Hook Reaver. Just gaining enough life to get out of that danger zone. But I don't mind the aggressive attack here because it does sort of set up the reverse lethal for next turn.
I don't think there's really much of a reason for her to trade into one of the wolves, as there's not much threat of what one wolf can do to Audrey.
Yeah, I guess she does. She probably knows that those kill commands aren't both in hand because we would have seen them come out already. So
We have to see the Zul'jin come out here. Otherwise, Talia is just dead on board. I think she definitely should trade into the 7/6 though, is that... Oh, she's going to just kill and try to get more value out of that Zul'jin, it looks like.
yeah, I mean, I guess she knows that there's not that much burst coming out of Audrey's even lock, but a bone mirror could have been really problematic for her here.
This puts Audrey in a bit of a peculiar spot. She doesn't have much to really do in hand, but she's not really worried too much. She just kind of wants to go face, I feel like, and try to close this out before like a Zul'jin or Rexxar maybe swing the game.
Yeah, so she's just going to go for making a board, which will protect her. Going wide on the board will protect her against some of that the random effects that will come out of Zul'jin, making it more likely that her minions stay up. So I definitely expect to see Zul'jin come out this turn.
Here comes the big axe.
And this
Flanking strikes are not going into spots Talia wants to see them go.
Yeah, she would have loved to have seen that 7/3 go down, I think. This gives Audrey sort of more minions to play around with, sort of what secrets she triggers when. And to be honest, she knows there's not much in the hand, and she has that Hellfire to clear this board. I wonder if she just triggers off all those secrets by going face and then just Hellfires this all away.
She would only trigger one of the secrets by going face, since there's no room to spawn the Wandering Monster. or the snake trap.
That's true. I wonder if she might have been better off clearing one of the wolves first, but I mean, she might just be happy getting in this damage. Like, that's lethal with the Hellfire there.
Oh wait,
so.
I miscounted the damage. I didn't even realize she had lethal there. Well,
yeah.
Guess Audrey's gonna take that 3-1, I believe.
Yes, 3-1 there. So some really strong play on the even lock, aggressively pushing damage and getting some really good value out of her giants gives Audrey the match 3-1 there.
Giants are just such a threat when they come down early. You can't deal with them quickly. It's just gets out of control no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, and I think Audrey did really well, sort of identifying the turns that she could really switch from being defensive to being the aggressor there, and really sort of maximizing her damage that she got in.
She did a great job in that last match, holding on to that Hellfire to be prepared for like the Zul'jin board to come up.
Yeah, and then being able to get the lethal off the back of that was sort of almost just a bonus, really, in the end there. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks you everyone for joining us. That was a really entertaining match there. We'll be back next week with more Badass Women of Hearthstone matches. So from myself and Tikiwiki, good night.
Good night.
But she said, trust me, these are the stories we will tell. As I stood frozen, infinite, I almost fell. But I got a feeling and my heart starts beating, a sudden rush of feeling alive. This is freedom and I won't change, I won't phase out. I know.
Stop the time, hold your breath. You're the only one I see.